In this video we're going to have a look at inserting a header and footer into a document. Once you've got your document open, we can add a header and footer by selecting Insert, and then we've got the header and footer group. We have the header button, footer button and page number. Be aware that we're going to ignore the page number option because it can get confusing if you've also added a footer as well. For the header, all we'd have to do is click on the header button, and we're given a series of default or built-in header styles that we can use. We've got the blank options at the top, and then it gets a little bit more colourful and interesting as you scroll down the list. So there are quite a few interesting styles that you can select. For ITQ level 1, we'll keep with the blank single column or blank 3 columns options. If you're only inserting one piece of information, then you can go with the single style, or if you're adding 2 or more pieces of information, you can go for the 3 blank columns. Go for the 3 in this instance, but it's exactly the same for 1 blank as well. As soon as you've selected the style that you want, we'll get the header and footer tools in the name bar and then the design ribbon popping up. On the far left we have the header and footer group, which is identical to that in the insert group. We then have the insert group. This is where we can insert pieces of information. The navigation group allows us to move around the header and footer. For example, if you're creating a header and a footer, we can click Go to Footer, and that will immediately take us into the footer. You can go back by clicking Go to Header. The options group allows us to set a different first page and different odd and even pages. Position allows us to change where the header and footer appears. By default, it will always be 1.25 centimeters either from the top or the bottom of the document. And then we've got the close option, close header and footer. To insert the information, I've got the cursor flashing just in front of this type text area here. We want to make sure that we don't start typing immediately. You do want to highlight or select the type text box. Once it's highlighted in blue, we can start typing. So for this one, I'm going to put in my name, and then for the second option I'm going to put the center number. If we don't need a third piece of information, again we have to highlight type text and then either press backspace or delete on the keyboard, and that gets rid of that blank area. Once you're happy with your header, we can click Close Header and Footer, and then it greys out the header and takes us back into the main page. If you find that you need to edit your header or footer, 2 ways that we can get into it. We can either double click in the header or footer area, and that immediately brings us into the header or footer, or you can select Insert, Header or Footer, and in this instance, if we chose one of the built-in options, it would delete the information we'd already typed in. So we need to select Edit Header at the bottom of the document, or the bottom of the drop-down list rather, and that again will take us into the header to make changes. To apply a footer, the easiest way is to click on Footer, either from the Insert page or the header and footer design ribbon, and again, like I say, we've got these options to create default built-in areas. Again, we'll go with 3 blank columns, and this takes us down to the footer section. What we'll have a look at now is inserting automatic information. So it's normally the date and file name that we need, but we'll have a look at page numbers as well. Again, we have to click on the type text box, and for now we'll look at date and time. Click on the date and time button in the insert group on the design ribbon, and the date and time dialog box will open up, and it will show you on the left hand side available formats. So we've got a very simple option. We've got an option with the day and month written out, and so on. It's best to always go with that first option. We have to make sure that the language is set to UK, so if we click on the drop down list here, you'll see it's US at the minute, and I've got UK as a second option. So we have to make sure that the day comes first, then the month, then the year. We also want to make sure that update automatically is checked, just to make sure that it does update as we go. Once we're happy with these options, if you click OK, it will automatically insert the day's date. Because I've clicked update automatically, if I open this document tomorrow, it should by default change the 13 into the 14 to match that day's date. In the next box we want to add in the file name, and for this again it's in the insert group, and we go for quick parts. The piece of information we need is a field, so we click on the field option and this opens the field dialog box, and in the field names area we need to select file name. As soon as you've chosen it, we get a number of different options popping up. We've got the field properties, and we want to leave this set to none, so it copies exactly the style in which you write the file name when you're saving the document. We need to make sure that add path to file name is left blank or unchecked by default, so you want to make sure that there isn't a tick in that box, and we need to make sure that preserve formatting during updates is checked. So again, it's a single click in that box if there's no tick, and it will select or apply that option. Again, once you're happy with these settings, we just click OK, and it inserts the file name. If you have 3 pieces of information, again we can make use of this third box by clicking on the text area and either typing in the information you need or selecting the automatic information. If there is a 4th piece of information, once you've entered the third, all we need to do is press enter to go down a line, and it will take us straight underneath that first piece of information. What we'll have a look at here is page numbers. So again, we've got the page number box here, and we need to make sure that we select current position. If we selected page margins or bottom of page or top of page, it can get confused with the header or footer that we've entered in. So current position, so it's wherever you have left the cursor flashing. You can go with a plain number, which is simple, or we can go with accent bar 1, accent bar 2, and again there are, as we scroll down, a number of different ways in which the text can be displayed. I'm going to go with accent bar 1. Again, as soon as you've selected it, that information is applied. Remember, with a header and a footer, it is designed so that if we created a second, third or 4th pages, however many pages you want, this information will always appear at the top and the bottom of the page, depending on whether it's a header or a footer. So once we've finished, like I say, we click on Close Header and Footer, and there's our pieces of information. Something that you do need to make sure, if I save this document now with a different file name, and please be aware this video is in Word 2010, but the options we've seen work in exactly the same way for 2007. So I'm going to change this to compost header and footer. If I click on save, then the file name should automatically update to compost header and footer, but it hasn't done it just yet. So this is why we need to make sure that the file name does update. If I close the document and then reopen it, scroll down, and if you find that the file name still hasn't updated, what we can do is go into the footer, so it's insert footer and then select edit footer, right click on the word compost, and then we've got update field as one of those right click options. Left click on the word update field and it will insert the correct or current file name. So we do have to make sure that it does update as you're working through a document. So that is adding a header and footer to a document.